And so we essentially created this militarized border out of the fear of what potentially could start coming through the borders.
No, you're right. I've heard that argument as well, right? So 19 hijackers were visa overstays.
Yeah.
Right? They were entitled to come in, but they were overstays, and no one was looking for them. No one was looking for them. And so if you think of 9/11, right? I still remember going to the Naco Border Patrol station, and the Border Patrol was so old. We did things, kind of ancient, right? There were no TVs anywhere in the stations, right? And I remember I would always get early. I was agent in charge of Naco. An agent had come in and he goes, "Hey, have you heard what's going on in New York?" So what are you talking about? And he explained about the planes, right? I had to go up the street to a bar who had a TV on to see what was going on. I called my wife and I said, "Hey, turn on the TV." And then she was, "Why?" And I just turn on the TV. Go, "What channel?" "Any channel." She turned on the channel and she says, "Oh my God, what's going on?" He goes, "I don't know. I'm in a bar watching this. I got to go back to the office."
Yeah.
On that. And so the idea comes back is, okay, 19 hijackers, we didn't know they didn't come between the border of entry. But I remember the country the sentiment was we have to do something. And we have to do something is what's visible. You start hiring people in uniform in between ports, and you start to realize, hey, they came in through ports of entry, but God, we're vulnerable between ports of entry.
Yeah.
What's gotten away that we have no idea what's gotten through in the country? And I think that was the driving force.
Yeah. And, it's almost the same as you said before, like we hired all these agents almost just because of the NAFTA, and then we hired all these agents because of 9/11, but became a necessity. It became it became so important because right now what we have, proven numbers, data, these terrorist organizations using our southern border to gain access into America.
Absolutely. And so when we went from 4 to 8,000, we thought, oh, you double. No, we were so far in a hole, even doubling it still doesn't get us to a bare minimum.
Right.
And I happened to be at Border Patrol headquarters at the time, and my division we were responsible for the plan for the growth from 10,000 agents to 20,000 agents. And I remember our national chief, David Aguilar, said, hey, your unit has to come up with a plan. How are we going to go from 10 to 20? What stations, what infrastructure, all these things we're going to put in place. And I remember the question was, well, how quick is this growth? He goes, I think we could do this in 10 years. He went to the White House, came back, and he goes, you got 4. And 4 is that we thought we could barely do it in 10 on that, but there was a recognition that we were so far in the hole that we had to build up. We had to get the agents, right, to be able to do that. Just to give us an idea, what are we missing? And those decisions back in 2007, 2006, have paid off now in 2024. Now it's saying, hey, we got 20,000+ Border Patrol agents and they're overwhelmed. But we have a better idea now of what is coming across, right? The terrorist threats. I have never seen so many people on watch lists that I've seen in this past year.
Yeah, it's pretty intimidating. And, the Border Patrol probably sits currently around 19. I know the recruiting is a little low because of just the polarization of the Border Patrol career field through the media. A lot of the negative press that it's got throughout the years that's unwarranted. But either way, they're sitting somewhere around 19, and that's low. I think the Border Patrol would love to jump even higher to that. I would love to see the Border Patrol somewhere in the 30,000 would be great. You know what I mean? From what we've seen is because the massive influx that's happening now, our agents are getting kind of pulled off the line to help with the processing. They've hired other companies to come in and help support that. They've hired new positions to help support that as well, which has been very valuable to put our agents back on the line. But this crisis that we're having currently, it's just kind of interesting that we were set up for it in a sense as a Border Patrol. I can't speak for the Border Patrol itself, but I'm saying from outside watching, it looks like we were set up in a good place. But there was all these little areas that a lot of people have the misconception that the Border Patrol is also the housing unit of Department of Homeland Security. And that causes a lot of discrepancies in the media and a lot of the negative attention that the Border Patrol's received.
It really does, Vince, because they look at the Border Patrol kind of like as the one-stop shopping place, right?
Right.
We even get confused, right? That, hey, you guys at the port of entry. No, those are blue uniforms.
Yeah.
We're the green uniforms, right? It's between the ports of entry, but they think, okay, you get them, you house them, you transport them the whole bit, and that isn't the case.